Greetings. This is Rita Thompson with another American Bridge Association Membership Committee podcast. Today, I'm joined by Lynda Straker and Annetta Wallace for a conversation about the beginner bridge classes hosted this year by the Metropolitan Bridge Unit of New York. These classes welcomed new learners and successfully introduced 17 fresh faces to the game of bridge. Lynda and Annetta, thank you so much for being here today.
It's good to be with you.
Yes,
Thanks
it's
for
very
having
exciting.
us.
So, I understand the beginner bridge classes were held at vastly different venues. About half of the students attended class in a church, and the others attended an evening class. What inspired those time slots, and how do they reflect the needs of your students? Lynda?
Well, what inspired those time slots? On a Sunday after church and during our fellowship hour, my sister and I asked a group of people that we've known for maybe 20 years if anybody would like to learn how to play bridge. And about 15 people raised their hands, which surprised us immensely. And we decided, the group and Janice and I decided that we would meet Sundays after the fellowship hour, right there in the fellowship hall, and give them bridge lessons. So that's how we started. And the teaching has expanded, but that was the beginning of a really great learning experience for all of us.
Annetta, how about your class?
Well, the director of the bridge home, we've been thinking of ways of getting some younger people into the game, and we figured that if we had a class in the evenings, we could attract people who are still working, because we need some younger people to help sustain our organization. So that's why we decided to do something in the evenings.
Well, I think you have both had very wonderful strategies. So what concepts did students grasp most quickly? Annetta?
Well, I think my students liked, for some reason, One No Trump, opening One No Trump 15 to 17. That resonated with them. And they seemed to pick up on that really fast. Even though they did have problems with the follow-up, but the One No Trump 15 to 17, they just loved that.
And how about your classes, Lynda?
Well, our class, the size of the group included a wide range of experience, from some who had never played cards before or even held a deck of cards, a hand of cards in the hand, to those who were able to grasp and understand concepts pretty quickly. So we muddled along, and slowly everybody got the idea, but we went, there was no bridge concept that the group actually fixated on, but they did reading on their own, and they seemed to be really interested in Stayman. So, we eventually got to Stayman, and they were very, very curious about that. And that remains something that they struggle with. Some have really got it, but eventually they're all going to get it. It'll be good.
So that was their introduction to conventions.
Yes,
Yes.
right. That's right.
So were there any moments that really stood out during the course? And Annetta?
Well, one thing I really felt good about was that when we were talking about coming to the end of the classes, the students, they didn't want the classes to end. They wanted to come back. So because of that, we introduced advanced beginner class, and that really resonated well with me, that they wanted to continue learning.
So it sounds like they were having fun while they
I'm not
played
sure if
bridge.
it's fun, but they really love the game. That much I know.
And how about the church group? How about them?
Well, I know what happened recently. They started at very different levels of understanding. And we've been meeting for almost a year. And the ones that have come the furthest have really done very, very well. And the last time we were playing a hand, and one of them at the end of the play actually claimed the last two books. They were all so excited. Everybody clapped for her. They were like, "Oh, that's so great that she would be able to claim." So they're all having lots of fun. They're all very motivated in learning more about bridge and doing pretty well.
And I heard
Yeah.
that
Also, Rita, before you continue on the subject of motivation, two of these new students were so motivated that they actually went to the summer nationals as brand new students.
well, that is quite something, I have to say.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So did social interaction play a role in the learning process? How'd that go? Lynda?
Well, as I said, we started out, all of us knowing each other pretty well, except, bridge it's a different kind of environment, but everybody was very supportive. Nobody was critical of anybody. And the environment is very encouraging. So I think it just helps the learning process move along faster.
So it sounded like you had a friendly games with them.
Yes.
And Annetta, you have anything to comment on
No,
that?
I found the same with my group too. They didn't know each other before, but they just meshed, and they all get along very well. In fact, some of them have even started having sessions at home where they play with each other. So that's very rewarding.
So what was the biggest challenge in teaching beginners? Annetta?
Yes, bridge is not an easy game to learn. It's not easy. And just like Lynda said with her group, they're all at different levels. So as a teacher, you have to be really patient, and you have to be supportive, and you have to take baby steps. You can't come with your own agenda. You have to go at their level so that they'll stay interested. You can't push them too much, but you have to at the same time be demanding.
So it sounds like you have high expectations for your students.
Yes, I love the game, and I want them to love the game too, and I want them to do well.
How about you, Lynda? Any
Well,
challenges there?
Well, the challenge was, Annetta mentioned that we had people who were working along with people who were retired. So we wanted to provide a game experience for all of them. And I know we started a night game that I hosted for a few weeks so that the new players who had jobs could come play in addition to the classes, could come play in a game. So it was supported by some of our longstanding bridge players too. So I think that worked well for them, and they got to feel what it was like out of the classroom at the bridge table, moving, making the movement and dealing with experienced bridge players is also an experience, an experience that they'll remember.
Now we're talking a little bit about playing bridge face to face at the table. Are your students also engaged in Bridge Base Online? So many of us play online. Annetta?
Yes, we introduced them to Bridge Base Online very early, playing things like some of the individual games that BBO hosts, like the Seven Tricks Challenge. So we introduced them to that, and we have a mentor-mentee game that they can play. So, and also a lot of them also play with the robots individually. So.
And Lynda, are your students online as well?
Oh, they're online as well. And one of my new players, she says that, and this is shortly after she started to play. She said somehow she just can't put her computer down. She falls asleep in the bed with the computer next to her because she's playing on BBO. So they like playing online, and they like all the resources that BBO offers.
Well, it sounds like they're all getting a wonderful start in this world of bridge that we all love.
Yes.
We hope so.
Now, are there any tools or handouts that you found particularly useful? What are you providing the students, Annetta?
Well, as BBO, I think was very helpful, and I borrowed some of the things from my experience as a teacher. I, for example, gave homework every class, and I went over the homework, and we did things like talking out the bids. Instead of just bidding one spade, two spades, we would say the actual words to say what do I want my partner to learn. So verbalizing the bids, that helped too.
That helps to reinforce what the bids mean, I suppose.
Yes.
And and how about you, Lynda?
Well, I just started with the Audrey Grant book, but it's just very, very basic. And I found that after a while, they could, once they knew enough to understand the basics about bridge and card play, Annetta's class became the natural next step, because they would be able to benefit from the kind of lessons that she gives.
And what advice would you give these new players as they continue their bridge journey, Lynda?
Well, I would advise them to play as much bridge as they can face to face, as well as online, but not to be too hard on themselves when they make mistakes. Learning bridge a lot of times is making a mistake and then trying to correct it the next time. And that you count, count. There are so many things to count, and just take one step at a time and keep practicing.
And Annetta, what advice would you give to these new players?
I agree with Lynda. I think it's play, play, play. But another suggestion that I would give my students is to ask a more advanced player to be their mentor, and to work with that player, so that player can help them along. Somebody to hold their hand.
Well,
also another important thing is too that they should learn to read bridge books, because there's a lot of information out there, and reading only reinforces what we learn in class.
Well, I think that's excellent advice for our new players. And it's been a pleasure speaking with you both today about the Metropolitan Bridge Unit's inspiring work. And congratulations again to the 17 new players and to everyone involved in growing the bridge community. And thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rita.